Let's start by comparing the effectiveness of these vaccines. We see a range from Sinovac, which has the lowest effectiveness at about 49.6%, to Moderna, which is at 94.1%. What do you think about this range?
Yeah, it's quite spread. Moderna is definitely the highest, which suggests it could provide better protection. However, Sinovac 49.6% effectiveness seems a bit low compared to the others. Do you think that means it's not as reliable?
Well, even with a lower effectiveness, it might still offer protection against severe cases, just not as much against mild cases. Also, Sinovac is authorized for a wide age range for 90 to 30 years old, which could be why it was more desirable in certain regions. What do you think, Aulia?
That's a good point, Nini. If we look at AstraZeneca, for example, it has a higher effectiveness range of 70.4% to 82.4%. It also has a longer gap between doses, 4 to 12 weeks. Do you think the dosing schedule has an impact on its effectiveness?
That's an interesting question. I imagine that the longer interval might allow for a more robust immune response, but it could also delay immunity, which might not be ideal in urgent situation. How does that compare to vaccines like Pfizer or Moderna, which have shorter dosing intervals?
That's right. Pfizer and Moderna both have a 3 or 4 week gap between shots. Their effectiveness is also quite high, especially Moderna at 94.1%. That seems like an advantage in terms of speed and immunity. But then, AstraZeneca interval of up to 12 weeks might work better for certain logistical reasons, especially in low-resource areas. What about side effects control? Do you think the side effects differ based on the dosing interval or effectiveness?
That's a good angle, Nini. If we look at Pfizer and Moderna, they both have common side effects like pain, swelling, and chills. AstraZeneca seems to have more severe side effects like fever and even thrombosis. What do you think the reason behind that might be?
I think it could be related to the technology behind the vaccines. Pfizer and Moderna are mRNA vaccine, while the AstraZeneca used a viral vector. Viral vector vaccines often have stronger immune response, which could lead to stronger side effects like fever or chill. What do you think about Johnson and Johnson talk? It's only require one dose, but its effectiveness is lower at 66.9%.
That's true, Amni. Johnson & Johnson single dose option is convenient, especially for people who can make it back for a second dose. The trade-off seems to be that it's be less effective. Still, it might be a good choice for quick road. Do you think?
Definitely, especially in regions with logistical challenges. On the other hand, Sputnik V has an effectiveness of 91.1% to 91.5%, which is quite high, and it also has the 3-week interval between doses, similar to Pfizer and Sinovac. But the side effects list for Sputnik include things like muscle pain and rash, which are also present in other vaccines. What do you think about Sputnik's effectiveness compared to other vaccines?
Sputnik's effectiveness is right up there with Moderna and Pfizer, which is impressive. It might also be a good alternative to those options, depending on availability. However, it's only authorized in certain countries. It's curious why it hasn't been authorized globally. Maybe it's due to political reasons rather than scientific ones.
Exactly, and let's not forget Sinopharm, which has effectiveness of 79.3%. Is another investigated virus vaccine like Sinovac, and it has a similar dosing scope. It seems like Sinovac and Sinopharm are not as high rate in terms of effectiveness, but they still play a critical role in vaccination effort worldwide, especially in areas with limited access to other vaccines.
That's true. The fact that Sinovac and Sinopharm are available to a large number of people is key. We might not always get the highest efficacy, but we are still offering protection. I think the main takeaway is that all of these vaccines are contributing to global efforts against COVID-19, and the decision on which one to use often depends on the availability and the specific needs of a population.
Yes, I agree. Ultimately, it's about balancing effectiveness, availability, and the side effects that might be more tolerable for certain groups. It's good to have this option available.
Exactly. That is a good reminder that even with different inefficacy, getting vaccinated with any of these vaccines is better than not getting vaccinated at all.
I think we have covered most of the important points. This was a great discussion.